This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the state visit by the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana wrapping up over the weekend. On Friday, the delegation, along with Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie and government officials, traveled to Grand Bahama. Following a tour of the industrial sector, the one-day visit ended with a luncheon at the Grand Lucane Resort. Sabrina Brown was there.
A cross-sector of the Grand Bahama community attended the special luncheon, where they heard more about how the Bahamas and Guyana can share in growing their economies. Guyana is known for its rich agricultural sector, and Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie says this is a lucrative market which islands like Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Andros have the capacity to develop.
When you talk to, say, Carnival Cruise Lines, they would say, if you are able to produce a crop calendar, to show us what you are producing, when you're producing it. If you are able to meet that quality, we'll buy all you can give us. And so you have that opportunity. And therefore, it's a question of how does one go about in a country like the Bahamas being able to take advantage of these opportunities to significantly diversify our economy.
The country's leader says the Bahamas, like Guyana and other countries in the region, is working hard to secure the future for young people. Grand Bahama, he notes, has the infrastructure for a population of around 500,000. Further, he says this island has a critical role to play in charting the way forward for the nation's youth.
The challenge for us, therefore, is to maximize the wonderful attributes of the island and the city, with a view to giving these young people of whom I speak, and some of whom are in the room with us, a realistic perspective that when they are trained and they've completed their education, they will have a future in their country and would not have to go abroad to look for one.
Guyana produces trained professionals who are contributing to economies around the world, including the Bahamas.
It is an amazing kind of experience to see that over all of the years that I've been in public life, to see the large numbers of Guyanese recruited to come in to work into our public system as main contributors to our hospitals, as nurses, as doctors.
Guyana's president, His Excellency David Granger, visited New Providence prior to coming to Grand Bahama. He says the developments taking place in the country are impressive.
I think that the Bahamas is on the path, well on the path to prosperity. It's well on the path to security, and it's well on the path to, I would say, sealing its position with solidarity with the rest of the Caribbean community. This is the place that we've come to learn about one of the most dynamic tourism destinations in the Caribbean. This is the place that we've come to learn about financial services. This is the place that we've come to learn about the tremendous amount of maritime research that we've been doing.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
The Parliamentary Registration Department has commenced the distribution of voters' cards here on Grand Bahama. This morning, scores of registered voters turned out to collect their cards that will enable them to exercise their right to vote in the upcoming elections. A long line of registered voters was wrapped around the post office. They all stood in line waiting to receive their voter's card. It was the first day for registered voters to pick up their cards in preparation for the upcoming general election. Assistant Parliamentary Commissioner Reno Smith says he is pleased that there were no major hiccups.
Before we arrived, there was a line of enthusiastic registered voters who came to collect their cards as per our announcement of last week. The operation is going rather smoothly. There's no trouble. We have no concerns at this time. There are one or two little glitches that we are sending people over to our main office in the National Insurance building to correct. But that was the reason for having persons come here today to collect their cards. Just in the event that there are any hiccups, we can have them walk simply across the street to correct whatever concerns or address whatever concerns they might have.
Smith adds that despite the large numbers that turned out, there were no long wait times.
I would say about 10, 15, no more than 20 minutes based on how far they are in the line. And so everything is moving smoothly.
He notes that the number of persons who showed up at the post office proves that people are excited about the 2017 general election.
Even as we're here distributing cards this morning, there is a huge line at the main parliamentary office of new voters coming in this morning. As a matter of fact, on my way over to meet with you, we had a call of a bus load of persons making ready to come from the western portion of the island to the main office here to register today.
The local parliamentary department will be stationed at the post office for voters' cards to be picked up during the morning hours. Smith shares where they will be after hours and where persons in the Western District can go to collect their cards.
We will be here from 10 o'clock each morning until 4, and then again from 5 to 8 at the main post office. In the evening from 5 to 8, the western end of the island can collect their voters' cards from the administrator's office. I think they'd be using the courthouse, the magistrate courthouse in 8 Mile Rock, for distribution in the evenings from 5 to 8 p.m.
Well, March 3rd is recognized as World Teachers Day. To mark the occasion, this past Friday, the Bahamas Union of Teachers on Grand Bahama honored 5 former local educators at a banquet at the BUT Hall in Pioneers Loop. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, joined those in the teaching profession in congratulating the honorees, 2 of whom have passed, namely the late Sandra Edgecombe and Mary Knabb.
They have made an excellent contribution to the growth and development of our community and the investment in education for our young people. And so on behalf of the government, I know the Minister of Education would join me in saying that we're so pleased of what they have done to transform the lives of many young people in our communities, and also to give them an opportunity to go on to higher education and to come back to our country and contribute tremendously to the growth and development here on the island of Grand Bahama.
Minister Darville also commending education giants Clarence Carroll, Dr. Cecil Thompson, and Hezekiah Dean for their contributions over the years.
All who have also been very dynamic educators for many years on the island of Grand Bahama, and we can go from the length and breadth of Grand Bahama, and you only hear good news about the people that they had under their belt, and they trained and mentored and gave them opportunities not only to be educators but also to be progressive citizens in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
And of course, a special congratulations to all of the honorees. Well, while firefighters in the capital were busy battling a major fire at the city dump, their counterparts here on Grand Bahama were tackling a big brush fire that was threatening several businesses in the vicinity of the Ranfurly Circus. The fire erupted in the area of the fitness center on East Atlantic Drive and Sunrise Highway around 6:30 Sunday morning, and it was fueled by high winds. Flying embers created a scare for nearby businesses, and the thick plumes of smoke also created a visibility challenge for motorists in the area because of the high winds. The smoky conditions had drifted as far as Pinder's Point. Now, firefighters monitored the blaze throughout the day, and by 7 p.m., the blaze had been fully extinguished. This is the brush fire season, and fire officials are advising residents to remain vigilant. Stay with us. There's more news right after this.